Happy and smart developers, welcome to the coding board. This is series of UI technologies CSS and this is part 5. Today we are going to learn CSS basic selectors. So let's begin the session. Basic selectors in CSS. What are the basic selectors in CSS? Element selector, ID selector, and we have class selector. So let's understand one by one. First, element selector. Select all instances of given element. Let's understand element selector with practical example. This is basic structure of HTML document where doc type is HTML, then opening HTML where primary language is English, then we have head section with character set UTF-8, author Mohsin, and content the coding bot. Title of the document is learning basic selectors in CSS. Then we have body section and then closing HTML page. Now let me take one heading H1 and then closing H1, the coding boat. Okay, and I am aligning it. Align is equals to center. Okay, this is our heading. Then let's take lorem ipsum. It's processing and here is the output. So lorem ipsum, here I am taking this particular paragraph, control C, and then in p tag we have this paragraph and then end of the p tag. Okay, but this is heading, so what I will do, I will take here br and then h3 slash h3 and here is the heading. Okay, save the code and check the output. Basic selector in css.html. Code is saved and now let's process in Chrome browser. So this is our final output. Let me increase the size. Okay, this is our final output. We have one h1 tag, then h3 and then paragraph. Then again what I am doing, we are taking another paragraph. Control C and here paste. So what I am doing here, I am taking h3 and then here slash h3. Okay, then here paragraph tag, and here slash paragraph tag. Save the code and refresh. Now we have one h1, then h3, then paragraph, then h3, and then paragraph. So let's take one more file for CSS. What I will do, I will take h3, paragraph, color red, and semicolon, and then I will take paragraph, colon, and background color black. Okay, semicolon. Now color is white. Save the code with select with name. Let me check. Cancel. Basic selector in CSS. Okay, basic selector in CSS dot CSS. Save the code. Then we have to link. What are the attributes of link tag? We have related to type, and then we have href. Href is basic selector in css. Okay, then we have type. Type is text slash css. Okay, and then related to style sheet. Save the code and let's check the output. Observe carefully. Okay, where you need to observe? Here. See, I'm taking same color for your better understanding. Okay, here, and you need to observe this one. Then you need to observe this entire paragraph, and you need to observe this entire paragraph. Okay, I have taken same color. Why I have taken same color here? For representation, that you will understand. Just observe carefully. Now I am going to refresh. Okay, background color is not coming. Some mistake is there. Back G is missing. Save the code, and now it will appear. Refresh. So what happened? Let me explain. In CSS file, all the HTML elements which are having h3 tag, see, h3 tag, okay, are got selected, and this property of CSS got applied on those elements, and here all the paragraph elements got selected and this property got implemented on those paragraphs. Understood? So here what we have learned element selector. Okay, with the help of name of the tag we can select that particular element of HTML and we can apply our CSS style. This is element selector. Now ID selector. What is ID selector? That I will tell you. See, in the same example I am going to do some changes. For this second h3 I am using ID attribute where value is, let's say, 2. Okay, and save the code. Then in CSS h3 hash two. Why you have used hash symbol? Because this 2 is ID attributes value. Okay, value of ID attribute. That's the reason we have used hash symbol. Now let's save the code and let me refresh the web page. See here what happened. Red color is applied to only this second h3 element where id is 1. Correct? So in this way, with the help of id we can select elements of HTML document. So here we have learned ID selector. Okay, now what I will do, observe carefully. Instead of taking 2 I will take 1, and in HTML document I will take one more attribute, ID attribute. ID attribute is equals to 1. Okay, save the code and in CSS style sheet instead of 2 I am taking 1. Save the code and now let's refresh. Now observe carefully what will happen. What happened? First element of s3 tag whose id is 1 got selected and styles got applied. So here we have learned what is ID attribute. With the help of ID we can select HTML element and we can apply our style sheet. Now for practice purpose what I am doing, for this second paragraph I am taking ID second paragraph. ID is equals to second paragraph. Save the code and then id hash second paragraph, and what I am doing, color is, background color is blue and the color is let's take orange. Save the code and let's refresh. Observe the output carefully. What happened? second paragraph. Okay, one mistake. Let's remove space, save the code and refresh. Again it's not coming. P hash symbol, second paragraph. Okay, fine. P id is equals to second para. Let's check spelling. Second paragraph. Perfect. Id attribute, closing id attribute, slash body slash html. In html it is perfect. P hash second paragraph. It should work. It should work. Second paragraph. Okay. Let's do some changes. Let's take it second. Second. Let's take it p hash second. Save the code and save the code, then refresh. Got it. Okay, so I think there was some spelling mistake, because of that it was not happening. Now let's check once again. Second paragraph. Okay, and here second paragraph. Okay, save. So the thing is, there should not be starting, it should not start with number. Let's remove number and let's remove number from here. Observe, I think there is some keyword. Paragraph is something keyword. Paragraph. Oh ho ho. Paragraph. Paragraph. Save and save. Refresh. It's working. Then what is the problem with second? Second. Refresh. Perfect. So id name should not start with number. What I will do, I will take n here and then save the code, and in css starting with n, save the code and refresh. So conclusion is name id name should not start with number. id name should not start with number. Okay, id name should not start with number. So this is id selector, and let's move on. Class selector. What is class selector? Select all the elements with the given class name. Let's understand this. Let me remove this whole css style sheet, save the code, and let me show the normal web page. This. Now what I am doing, I will remove this all id here also removed, and then this one is also removed. Okay, all the IDs are got removed. Now what I will do, I will use class for this two h3 tags. Class is equals to headings. Okay, now class is equals to headings. Save the code. Now here h3 dot headings. Why I am using dot symbol? Because we have used class attribute. So please note down one small note. What is that note? ID must be unique. Okay, and class name can be same. Okay, so id must be unique and class name can be same. So if we want to select one particular element, then we will use id attribute. If we want to select multiple elements, then we will use class attribute. So currently we are selecting two h3 elements. Okay, currently we are using two h3 elements, and because I have used class attribute, that's the reason I am using dot here. After dot I am using name of the class. So I will use background color is orange, and then color is black. Say, not black, let's take blue, semicolon, and save the code. Now refresh. See, background color is orange. Let me check. Okay, small mistake. No double quotes. Save the code. Refresh. So got it. So we have selected two elements at a time with the help of class selector. So this was all about basic selectors in CSS. What are those? Let me revise those basic selectors. Element selectors, then we have ID selector, then we have class selector. Why we use element selector? We use element selector to select all the elements with same tag name. Why we use id selector? We use id selector to select particular html element. Id should be unique. Why we use class selector? We use class selector to select multiple html elements with same class name. Class name can be same. Okay, so that's it in this session. Let's meet in another session. Thank you.